Hey, what's up guys, Bajheera here. Now for this video, we're going to be checking out a new MMORPG game called Riders of Icarus. Now this is going to be a free-to-play game that is currently in beta stages, so I'll put some links in the description so you guys can check out this game when it goes back up and available for testing. But shoutouts to Riders of Icarus for sponsoring this video and for giving me a chance to test this game out, because it's been a lot of fun, and as you can tell, it is a really pretty looking game, even though we're still in the beta stages. And in this footage, of course, I'm playing the two-handed weapon-wielding combat beast, the Berserker class. Now you guys know me, I am kind of a sucker for these kind of characters. I always end up picking the class that has the biggest, baddest weapon, seems to do the most brutal attacks, and the Berserker definitely fits that bill. Even though I'm at a pretty low level in this video, I've already got a slew of abilities that help me understand exactly what the Berserker class is about. I have a few different forms of gap closers and some pretty cool abilities that I'm able to charge up to not only deliver some devastating strikes, but also give my character some cool buffs as well. For example, if I do get one of those fully charged strikes off, it's going to increase my health, my damage, my health regen, all of which are perfect for the in-your-face brawler style of the Berserker. Now you'll see that I also have a fair amount of in-combat mobility. To be fair, I am fighting a bigger, slower, somewhat of a mini-boss monster right here, so I'm able to kite him around and use my gap closers to re-engage. So not only does Riders of Icarus have some pretty impressive graphics, the gameplay is a lot of fun too. Now it feels to me like you can get away with just picking whatever abilities you want and swinging away, at least early on it does. But the game does have some built-in combat combos that you might want to make use of. Here's a small example. I'm going to pop an offensive cooldown, rush my opponent, charge up my massive upward strike, and then deal 2 devastating downward strikes as part of the combo, which almost kills this thing in one go. So he's going to do a little whirlwind attack. I'm just going to go ahead and run away from him, let him make himself dizzy, charge back in for some quick strikes, finish him off with another charge strike, just to keep that buff rolling. That's really fun to get that extra regen. As I mentioned before, I'm not super high level in this game, so I haven't spent like hours and hours playing it yet, but so far the basic questing is going to be something familiar to a lot of MMO players. You'll see a lot of quests that follow the traditional model of go out and kill this mob to retrieve this special item, or kill a certain amount of these mobs, or kill this particular type of mob to receive this type of item and take that to your quest giver. And as someone who plays a lot of MMOs, that doesn't really bother me at all. Especially early on when you're trying to learn what the game is about, what the world is about, how to play your character. Some basic quests that allow you the freedom to experience the game without being too confusing is a good thing, in my opinion. However, there are a few things that differentiate Riders of Icarus from any other MMO that I've played at least, and one of the things is capturing and taming your own mounts. So I know, for me at least, there have been countless times playing other MMOs where you see a really cool creature out in the world and you're like, dang, wouldn't it be cool to have that thing as a mount? Well, with Riders of Icarus, now you can. So I was like, dang, that wolf looks pretty cool. I'm gonna go make him my mount. So you pretty much just jump on and just wrestle these mounts into submission, but then you become friends and you can ride them around, and they actually gain experience and abilities along with you over time as you use that mount. And of course they do have a menu where you can check out all your mounts and see what abilities they give you. So you just saw right just then, my familiar has leveled up to level 3. So eventually I'll be able to unlock that first ability that I hovered over there for a moment. And over time, like I mentioned, they'll get stronger and gain cooler abilities, even battle abilities. But this game doesn't only feature ground mounts. Now this is a quest that I'm doing, but it does give you an early look at what the flying mounts look like. So the normal ground combat in Riders of Icarus is really cool, and the game is gorgeous, but I think one of the main things that Riders of Icarus is doing to differentiate itself from a lot of other MMOs is the emphasis on mounted combat. So you'll have ground mounted combat, but also aerial mounted combat as well. So the mounts are going to be a way for you to explore the world, see what it has to offer, but not only from a transportation perspective. These guys are actually going to be battling alongside you, growing more powerful as your character does as well. Now, obviously, my character is a melee, two-handed weapon wielding, muscle and metal kind of guy like I normally play. So I imagine a lot of my aerial combat along with ground combat is going to be about closing the gap between my opponents so I can get in for some devastating strikes. But you'll also be able to cast magical spells while flying on a huge dragon mount, which is pretty freaking cool. Now I was leveling around and I saw this kind of sparkly mob, so I knew I had to get this one as a mount. So I hopped on, started wrestling him. But don't be discouraged. if at sometimes your first attempt at wrestling a mountain to submission doesn't work. So you'll see this little interface. It has like a simple WASD sort of thing, so when prompted, you'll press the corresponding key. But like I mentioned, your first attempts at making friends with these mobs that you just jumped on top of might not always work. Fortunately, it seems at least early on that the costs of failure are not very severe. You just gather yourself, hop back on, and show this fuzzy woodland creature that you mean business. You will be my friend, Woodland Joey, like it or not. Fortunately, he's okay with it, so now I have a Woodland Joey to run around with. However, as you can tell, this guy has a special ability that allows me to run a little bit faster, which is really, really cool. But not only can you use these creatures that you tame in the wild as mounts, they can also become your pets. So I'm going to use this scroll that I got from a quest to turn this Woodland Joey into my pet. And obviously the pets are going to be a little bit different than a mount. Not only does it look kind of weird, I don't know what's going on with his eyes, and he has a little flower in his hair. However, when you summon him at your side, you'll get access to a pet bar. So you can set him to attack whatever's around him, or only attack things when you attack it, or not attack anything at all. And of course, you still have access to their special abilities, like the quicker movement speed. So now you have mounts that you can capture from the wild, and then turn into pets, and still make use of their unique combat abilities. This is some pretty cool stuff. So the way that you interact with the world in Riders of Icarus is fairly substantially different from any other MMO that I've ever played. Most notably in the fact that you can tame wildlife as mounts and pets, all that have their own unique abilities that you can use in combat, mounted or otherwise. That's pretty sweet. So what you're seeing here is a solo instance that I did while leveling through the first questing area. And I had a lot of fun in here because it allowed me to try out all my combo abilities, all my battle skills that I had been learning throughout the course of my leveling, and put them to the test against tons of monsters. Once I defeated enough of the smaller ghosts, I was able to go after the big boy, the guy who's causing all this trouble around here. Once again, I put my hit-and-run combat tactics to the test. The Berserker is a class that deals tons of damage when I have uptime, but I don't necessarily think it's a class that's designed to stand right in front of the mob and take a beating. I generally want to run in, deliver my most devastating combos, and then create some distance until my gap closers and combos are back up. As you can see, that combat style deals some pretty good damage and keeps me out of harm's way for the most part, taking down this spooky ghost once and for all. Now this is just a short clip, but without spoiling too much, the opening cutscene after the tutorial in Riders of Icarus is insane. So if this game looks like fun to you, definitely be sure to click the links in the description, check Riders of Icarus out, and watch that beginning cutscene. I think you'll like it. Riders of Icarus is a free-to-play game, but they do have Founders Packs that are available for sale. You'll be able to get those until July 5th, and they give players a bunch of benefits such as 7-day early access for the open beta and exclusive mounts, skins, buffs, and more. Once again, huge shoutouts to Riders of Icarus for sponsoring this video, giving me a chance to check the game out, and it is a lot of fun so far. Obviously a gorgeous game featuring some pretty exciting combat, and the whole inclusion of the mount and pet system really separates it from other MMOs that I've ever played, and seems like something that a lot of people are sure to enjoy. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Like I said before, if you guys want to check out Riders of Icarus, there will be links in the description. Feel free to give it a try. Let me know what you think. And as always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Peace!